Welcome to the Jaron Jarvis channel. I am Jaron Jarvis. Today, I would like to introduce to you, Drowned. An empty yet fathomless, perpetual darkness embraces every corner of my body, fear is present with its poignant greeting through my bones. I try to find something to distract myself, I try to move but I cannot. A kind of fogged glass covers my face. Cold chest, legs inert. I hear murmurs that ruminate in the distance gloom and try to close my eyes overwhelmed by fear, but whatever the blackness does it's just as impenetrable and ideas begin to fling themselves against my senses stabbing trough my common sense. My breathing is metallic. I see black and more black, but I notice movements around me, the skin bristles, I'm not alone. My eyes turn desperate on their sockets looking for something, anything that gives me an idea of where I am. Will I be dead? A small, faint halo of flickering light comes from somewhere below the viewfinder, fighting to illuminate my little field of vision. I just noticed a few bubbles away while I feel like my body ends up collapsing and so light does too. My soul escapes from me with every breath I breathe out. A twitter sounds in my ear and everything is over. Bubbles and dust are the last thing I notice. Bubbles. I found myself awake mode by the dawn, covered in sweat with the heart galloping at 1,000 per hour, every day the same dream. I check the room in disbelief at the realism of the vivid nightmare. I check my hands, reaffirm my safety by covering my face for a few seconds and everything seems to be calm. I mentally review the experience and again a chill runs down my back. I remember again a babble near my ear. I look awkwardly for touch with the floor, so that at least I come across an earthly sensation. I scratch the wood childishly for a few seconds before fully incorporating myself. Suddenly everything becomes cloudy and I hear the glass in the room cracking. Water, there was water gushing out of the cracks. I heard waves breaking furiously against the room, but it was impossible. The sea was breaking into the room by each nook and was reaching my hip. Desperate, my hands rushed against the knob of the door trying to find a way out, but to no avail. Discolored hands sprouted from the water splashing, a smell of rot in every corner, screaming, holding my arms and legs. It did not help to ask for help, before opening my mouth and the water had begun to cover my head. Convulsing with fear I noticed that I did not touch the floor, I just sank. I could not understand anything. But it did not matter, I was back here. Abandoned in the dark, I never left, or was I never? I notice the air, somehow heavier, the saliva tastes like blood to me. I have no idea how long I've been here, the seconds seem hours, the hours seem days, and even if I close my eyes the darkness does not disappear. I can't move, I feel an indescribable weight on my body and the weak light that comes out from under my viewfinder is beginning to fade away. The hands are trying to sink me, to drown me. No matter what I do, I'm still swallowed by this dark vortex. Suddenly everything calms down and they let go, they dissipate in a multitude of colors that I have never seen before and get lost in the few bubbles that surround me. My body shivers because of the cold. Static sounds around me. I get to hear a kind of dialogue distorted, but before he could even elucidate its origin, I distinguish a girl with pale skin standing right between. Nothing comes slowly to where I am, his hair is tousled and it rocks slowly. What does a girl do in a place like this? Everything is wrong, nothing makes sense. I try to make any movement, I need to escape. Every fiber of my being screams at me that I should not be here. The static continues to sound harshly. The girl advances step by step and every time I notice more that something is wrong with her way of walking, her face, her hair. Not even I know if he is really walking. The only thing that gave me security has been extinguished, my sanity. The light went out. I do not see anything, but I know that it is in front of me, only the dirty visor separates us. I cannot distinguish his features, only his whitish skin. Does not breathe. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. My muscles become numb. I feel a whisper near my ear and I manage to understand a couple of drowned sounds that for a moment filled all this gloom, a couple of words that were not. Your kind have only brought death. I screamed until my throat ached, my eyes were spinning in a deranged way looking to escape in all directions. I was convulsing with panic, I could not take it anymore. My head was not understanding anything. I felt blows against my body, and a metallic echo that filled the void. I felt that everything was about to collapse. The darkness opened its jaws again and I was devoured. Darker, yet darker. The static sounded far away, seemed to come from a radio. I do not know very well, everything sounds distorted. Static, I have visual confirmation. I proceed to descend, static central depth to, static meters. I'm being dragged again. I notice how a trickle of blood slips from my nose. Proceed with central emergency tank. Affirmative, proceed. An orange light sneaks through my eyelids. I try to open my eyes but I only see bubbles. Is still conscious, static, next decompression point. The bubbles bring a distant cry. I feel everything is spinning, and for a second I see the bottom. It was not a dream, there she was, her hair was floating. I was not alone, I never was. A floor of corpses of all kinds was down there, hundreds of skulls and moldy human remains. Forsaken boats, rusty harpoons, titanic skeletons, hatred and fear, much fear. She opened her mouth and whispered a song of grief under the water. I fainted. I woke up in the medical center, with hypothermia and multiple bruises, waiting for tests to see any possible brain damage due to a prolonged lack of oxygen in the abyssal bed. Nobody knows what happened. Apparently I suffered a nervous collapse in full decline, during an operation to search for historical material. Only I know what really happened, only I know that we should never go back to submerge ourselves there, that there are places banned for the human being. Now and occasionally, I look at the beach from distance. I can hear the waves as they bring tears to the ground. Occasionally, I can hear a cry yonder, there where everything is forgotten under the sea.